Last week, we talked about the body and the nervous system. Today, we're going to go deeper into the emotional level, which is one of the biggest reasons why women block their capacity to receive. You can be aligned, intuitive, intentional, but if your emotional body is carrying old patterns, your system will quietly block what you're actually trying to call in. So today, we're going to look at 3 different emotional patterns that I see most common in women over 40, patterns that keep you from receiving love, money, support, or expansion. Now, as you know that I talk about all the time, we heal on 4 different levels: the emotional, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. On the emotional level, your unprocessed feelings reside, old disappointments, suppressed resentments, and inherited patterns live. If your emotional layer is crowded, overwhelmed, or just full of noise, you know that noise you're constantly hearing in your head? Your system says, there's no room for more. Receiving literally feels dangerous. Even though you're not thinking that, that is what your body is saying. It can't take anymore. The first pattern I see most happen in women over 40 is over responsibility. This is one of the most common blocks in women over 40. It sounds like, I'll handle it. I don't want to bother anybody. Let me just take care of it. Over responsibility creates contraction. Can you just feel it? If someone is like, I'll just do it. I can handle it. I'll just take it. You can just feel what your body's doing. It's this contraction, right? There's no openness. There's no spaciousness for more. Your body just says, I can't receive anymore. I'm full. But you've got to remember that your desires require spaciousness. And over responsibility removes that space. This is when I'm talking about a woman living mostly in her masculine energy. She needs to step back and lean into her feminine energies and allow other people to take over. Pattern number 2 in women over 40, emotional self-pressure. This pattern almost creates an internal pressure that almost makes receiving impossible. It sounds like, I should be further by now. I need to fix myself, okay? I just need to fix myself. I have to get this right. I just need to be more positive. I've got to just stay positive. This emotional pressure that we put on ourselves just creates a form of inner tension. Can't you feel it? I used to live in this one. I was all about staying positive. I can do it. I've got to do it. I've got to fix myself. If I don't have this right, if I haven't manifested it yet, then it means something's not right with me. And I would just be like trying to prove myself to the universe. But when you're in this state of tension and contraction, there are no floodgates open. Even though you think you're doing everything you're supposed to, there's no space, and the body surely does not feel safe to allow anything in. A lot of women felt this, myself included, when we were trying to get pregnant. When you were trying to get pregnant, you were like, I've got to do this. I've got to do it. Why isn't it working? I should be able to do this. I've got to fix this. I would read books like this and tell my husband, okay, you've got to take this vitamin and I got to take this vitamin and I'm going to do this. It was like a separate side project that I was going to make happen. And there was something wrong with me because it wasn't happening. And haven't you ever heard that when you just relax, that's when most of the time people get pregnant? It's exactly what happened to me. When I actually gave myself permission to want this enough, I was going to finally retire from teaching so I could create this space and this slowness. And wouldn't you know, 2 months later, I felt pregnant. So this is what I'm talking about. The body knows it's not safe to bring a child into this environment. It's too stressed. But when you relax, the channel opens and there's space and safety for whatever you're wanting to manifest to come into reality. So receiving requires softness, not pressure. Pattern number 3, the hyper-independent protector. This is a survival pattern that occurred at some time in your life when you had to handle everything. You know, I actually shared a story when I was speaking at an event in London a couple of years ago about the first time when I felt I had to handle everything on my own. And it was when I was 3 years old. My mom was away at university, so my dad was taking care of me. And he dropped me off at the babysitter, but didn't wait to see that I got in safely. And I walked into the room and my babysitter was not there. And I ran around, hello. I ran outside and I saw my dad drive away, turn the corner, and I was standing in the middle of the street, 3 years old, going, oh my God, I'm alone. I've got to take care of myself. And my body took over immediately and coming up with a plan. And that was a moment that started me in my life. And I just created more and more experiences because that was the programming my body had. You've got to handle everything yourself. And I just got more experiences that proved it. Of course, this is how things work. And so my core belief until probably around 40 years old was that I was alone and I had to handle everything myself. So I became this hyper vigilant protector. If you resonate with this, it might sound like I don't trust anyone to show up. I'll just figure it out myself. I can't rely on people. I'm used to doing everything alone. Hyper independence is a protective emotional shield, but shields block blessings. You cannot receive deeply while you're at the same time defending yourself emotionally. So how do we clear these emotional patterns? Well, we don't clear them by forcing them out. And again, we don't fall into the other pattern of, let me just think positive. Let me just be a little bit more positive. We don't fall into that pattern. We create enough space, safety, and softness so that that pattern doesn't have to run. So how do you do that? Number one, name the pattern as protection. When you hear yourself saying one of those phrases that I said, go, oh, that's my protection. And it immediately loses its charge. Number two, give yourself time for emotional rest. Women over 40 rarely give themselves time to be still, for their emotions to decompress, or have even time to just come up. This is why meditation is such a good thing to do in the morning, because usually you're going to be by yourself. It's going to be quiet. It's going to be still. And a lot of people get meditation wrong, thinking it's all about stopping thoughts from going through our mind and stopping from emotions to come up. When in reality, meditation is completely opposite. When you're meditating, you're in the perfect present state of awareness. And that creates a sense of safety. So if you have feelings that arise, in that presence of awareness, of safety, they just come up and they release. If you have thoughts, you're not supposed to be resisting them or trying to shut them down. You allow them to go, but you are just watching, witnessing them. You know how you see, it's like clouds going through the sky and you're just watching them? That's what you're doing. You're witnessing the emotions, you're witnessing the thoughts, but you're not engaging in them, you're not entangling, you're not resisting them. That's why meditation is such a good habit, particularly for women over 40. And it doesn't take much time to do. Another thing you can do is to plan nature walks. Nature is another way of you being in the presence of stillness and silence. Don't put on those headphones and listen to a podcast. You can do that sometimes. That's fun. I do it too. But when you're particularly going through, especially this month of December, go out and just be. And it really doesn't need to be that long. I know even for myself, when I'm on the treadmill, I'll be listening to a song sometimes and it'll trigger a memory, it'll trigger emotion. And sometimes it's not always sad. It's like happy ones. And I'll just let the emotions come. I'll be crying and I'll just keep walking. And because I'm not resisting it and my body is moving, it just neutralizes and dissolves and goes away. I've allowed it to come up, but I used to say, oh, why am I crying on the treadmill? Oh, and stop it, right? But no, we need to allow ourselves to have these moments of emotional decompression. So stillness equals receiving space. So remember that. Another way you can break these emotional patterns is actually allowing yourself to receive support. Just little small ways. When someone holds the door, wants to help you carry a bag, or gives you a compliment, let them. When I became aware of how little I did this, I would laugh at myself because here I was walking up to a door. Of course, I have the emotional pattern that I have to do everything by myself and that I can and I should do everything myself. So I would walk up to a door fast because that was my pattern that I used to be in. I used to do everything fast. And I would open doors for men. Not that there's anything bad with that, but that and other things like allowing people to help me with my bags. No, I can do it. And I used to get pride out of being able to carry a lot of things. And that used to make me feel strong. But all it really did was reinforce this feeling of hyper independence. So practice over this month. If someone wants to help you, if they want to bring some food over to a party or the holiday dinner or whatever you're hosting, if they want to carry bags for you out to the car, receive it. If you get a compliment, just simply say, thank you so much, okay? Allowing yourself to receive strengthens the energy of receiving. The next thing you can do is slow the timeline. When the emotional body isn't rushed, it actually relaxes. And this is what I was speaking about in last week's video. So if you haven't seen that, I'll definitely put the link here and in the description box below. Because I was talking about how I used to do everything fast. I would wipe the cupboards fast. I would open the oven fast. I would vacuum fast. I would walk fast. I was just constantly rushing to go where? There was no place I was having to go. But my emotional state was trapped in that feeling that I needed to always rush. So remember, slow down whatever you're doing because relaxation opens capacity. Just notice if you're like this and you go and you soften your body. If you just tune in, you feel the spaciousness, right? And this last one is a huge one. I want you to allow emotions instead of managing emotions. There's a really beautiful, elegant, effective way of allowing your emotions to be felt without them overwhelming you. And this is so key because when we micromanage our emotions and like, well, that's good to feel. I should feel that way. I'm going to allow myself to feel that way, or I shouldn't feel that way. When we micromanage our emotions, we do not create space. We're staying in this contracted mode. So it's really important to welcome in your emotions and feel them. Just don't get entangled and attached to them. And as I said last week, December is a month where we relax and our body and our emotions soften and we can just really integrate what you've been learning over these last couple of weeks. And when you do allow that slowness, that more stillness, that's when your desires for next year become more honest. What do you really want from life? How do you want your life to feel? Do you want it to feel tight, contracted, rushed, busy, full of internal noise? Or do you want it to be an elegant life, full of more ease and flow and having desires and intention and them revealing them in life and experiencing and enjoying those manifestations? This month can really help you get clear. So if you use this month to clear your emotional patterns now, then your 2026 manifestations, dreams, desires have a clear channel to move down into. It's really, really cool because these patterns are not something that really take long to change. They can be really quick, and best yet, when they change quick, the results of your manifestations are changing quick too. So nothing has to take time. You just have to do the right things to create the right conditions for your manifestations to be able to land and stay there. Next week, I'm going to be sharing about energetic alignment for 2026. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so you don't miss that one because it is essential for being able to manifest and be able to live a more elegant life of ease and flow. So until then, leave me a comment and let me know, which emotional pattern did you see most in yourself? Or were you like me and you could say all three? Make it an elegant week, ladies, and I'll see you next time.